Never give a big spender a bigger allowance. Those words from Ronald Reagan ring true as raising the debt ceiling yet again remains hostage to Democratic Party infighting and Republican resistance. This year, the fight has grown more contentious, with Democrats determined to pursue their multi-trillion-dollar spending spree, even as they blame the debt on the Trump administration.
The reason we have to raise the debt limit is in part because of the reckless tax and spending policies under the previous Trump administration. In 4 years, they incurred nearly $8 trillion. In 4 years, $8 trillion in additional debt and bills we have to now pay off. That's more than a quarter of the entire debt incurred now outstanding after more than 200 years. And Republicans in Congress raised the debt 3 times when Donald Trump was president, and each time with Democrat support. But now they won't raise it, even though they're responsible for more than $8 trillion in bills incurred in 4 years under the previous administration.
I've said for more than 2 months that we will not help this unified Democratic government raise the debt ceiling. Democrats will not get bipartisan help borrowing money so they can immediately blow historic sums on a partisan taxing and spending spree.
Well, Mr. President, last night, Senate Republicans voted unanimously to make a default and a shutdown far more likely, and in doing so, solidified themselves as the party of default, the party that says America does not pay its debts.
In the face of such division, the risks of defaulting are real.
Well, I think it would be catastrophic for the economy and for individual families. Nearly 50 million seniors could stop receiving Social Security payments or see them delayed. Our troops would not know when they would get their next paycheck. We have 30 million families who rely on the monthly child tax credit, and they would not receive that relief.
Congress has raised the debt limit 78 times since 1960, often in acrimony. But today's especially poisonous atmosphere poses the biggest obstacle to date. Some suggest there might be a better way. Writing in the Washington Post, former House Majority Leader Eric Cantor posits, quote, the second best way forward, replacing the debt limit with a fiscal control mechanism whose consequences would be less devastating than default if Congress failed to act. Cantor proposes the Trust Act. It would, in his words, create rescue committees to shore up programs such as Social Security, Medicare, and disability insurance. The idea traces its roots to the bipartisan committee that saved Social Security in 1983 through a compromise involving benefits and revenue. Cantor argues that bipartisan committees, designed from their inception to approach fiscal matters in a spirit of compromise, might help break the partisan divide. Indeed, there are kernels of hope, as in the House's bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus. But it exists only in the House, and its attempts at compromise get far less attention in a media landscape that thrives off clickbait and tabloid images like protesters badgering a U.S. senator in a woman's restroom. Another obstacle to Cantor's vision is that Congress is a mere reflection of the Americans who elect it. The country is plagued by deep divisions, too. Congress is an extension of that. Those divisions are repairable, but not until the American people elect a leader or leaders who have respect and enough gravitas to bring Congress and the government itself back into its carefully aligned orbit and away from division and the brink of disillusion. No new vote has been set on raising the debt limit, although Majority Leader Schumer wants it to happen by the end of this week. Treasury Secretary Yellen says it has to happen by October 18th to avoid defaulting on the U.S. debt. Doug McKelway for the Washington Examiner.